Commander Kane, we've lost contact with the Eastern Quadrant. The panicked voice crackled through the comms. Sarah Kane's heart pounded as she scanned the whole map. Red indicators flashed ominously, marking the devastation. The screen showed scenes of chaos, buildings ablaze, people fleeing, and the relentless alien assault, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. The screams of civilians and the roar of explosions echoed, creating a haunting symphony of despair. She clenched her fists, her mind racing. This wasn't just an attack. It was a massacre. Sarah knew she had to act fast. Her fingers flew over the controls, attempting to reroute power to the colony's defensive systems. Lieutenant Harris, get the defense drones online. Dr. Martinez, how are we on medical supplies? Working on it, Commander, but it's bad. The aliens hit us hard, Harris replied, his voice strained but steady. We've got enough for now, but if this keeps up, we won't last, Dr. Martinez answered, her tone grim. Sarah's thoughts flickered to the families, the children. Her own nephew was somewhere out there. The thought fueled her resolve. We need to hold the line, she said, her voice firm. We can't let them advance any further. Commander, more alien ships incoming. A soldier shouted. The colony's main thoroughfare erupted in chaos. Alien soldiers, with their eerie, luminescent armor, marched through the streets, their weapons cutting down anyone in their path. Sarah's eyes narrowed as she observed their calculated ruthlessness. She grabbed her rifle and headed towards the front line. Outside, the scene was even worse. Smoke filled the air, and the stench of burning metal and flesh was overpowering. Sarah moved through the chaos with purpose, her presence a beacon of hope to the beleaguered defenders. Commander Kane. Over here. Private Jenkins called out, waving her over. She joined the small group of soldiers taking cover behind a makeshift barricade. What's our status, Jenkins? She asked, scanning the area. Not good. We're outnumbered and outgunned, Jenkins replied, wiping sweat from his brow. But we've got a plan. There's a weak spot in their formation. If we hit it hard, we might just buy ourselves some time. Sarah nodded. Let's do it. On my mark, we hit them with everything we've got. She checked her rifle, taking a deep breath. For our families. For our colony. Yes, ma'am. Jenkins and the others echoed, determination replacing their fear. Now, Sarah shouted. The defenders launched their counterattack with fierce resolve. Explosions rocked the street as grenades were thrown, and laser fire cut through the smoke. Sarah led the charge, her precise shots taking down alien soldiers with ruthless efficiency. The tide began to turn, if only slightly. In the midst of the battle, Sarah caught sight of a young boy, terrified and alone. Without hesitation, she sprinted towards him, scooping him up and shielding him with her body. I've got you, she whispered, her voice filled with unwavering determination. They reached a safer spot, and she handed the boy to a medic. Take care of him, she ordered, before turning back to the fight. The humans fought with a fury born of desperation and loss. Every fallen comrade, every destroyed building only strengthened their resolve. As the battle raged, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The aliens had unleashed a storm, but humanity's response would be a tempest. Hold the line, she yelled over the din of battle. For our home, for our future. And with that, they fought on, each one fueled by the unwavering belief that they could and would overcome. Sarah Kane stood on a makeshift platform, her eyes scanning the battered remnants of her colony. The survivors gathered below, their faces etched with fear and determination. The air was thick with the scent of smoke and the lingering echoes of battle. She took a deep breath, knowing this moment was crucial. Everyone, listen up, Sarah's voice rang out, strong and clear. The crowd fell silent, their attention riveted. We've endured a devastating attack. We've lost friends and family, but we are still here. And as long as we stand, we fight. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Sarah continued, Our enemy thinks they've seen our worst. They think they've broken us, but they don't know what humanity is capable of. They don't know our strength. Lieutenant Mark Harris stepped forward, his presence commanding. Commander Kane is right. We have a plan, and we will strike back. We'll show these aliens that humanity doesn't back down. We stand and fight for our home. Dr. Elena Martinez joined them, her expression resolute. We have the medical supplies we need, and we've set up field hospitals. We'll take care of our wounded and ensure our fighters are ready. Sarah nodded, her gaze sweeping the crowd. Here's the plan. We hit them where it hurts. We've identified a weak point in their defenses. We'll launch a coordinated attack there. It's risky, but it's our best shot. Private Jenkins, still covered in grime from the earlier battle, raised his hand. Commander, what about the civilians? How do we protect them while we fight? We're setting up safe zones, Sarah replied. We'll evacuate the non-combatants to those areas. The rest of us will focus on the counterattack. Every soldier, every medic, every engineer, everyone has a role. We fight not just for ourselves, but for every soul in this colony. The crowd's murmur grew louder. Mixture of fear and resolve. Sarah's voice cut through the noise. I know you're scared. I am too. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. Remember why we fight. Remember who we fight for. She saw the change in their faces, fear giving way to determination. We move out at dawn. Get some rest, check your gear, and say your goodbyes. Tomorrow, we take the fight to them. For our fallen, for our future. As the crowd dispersed, Sarah turned to her core team. Mark, Elena, Jenkins, let's finalize the details. We need to be precise. They gathered around a holo map, refining their strategy. We'll split into 3 units, Mark began, pointing to key locations. Alpha hits their command post, Bravo secures the perimeter, and Charlie handles extraction and medical support. Elena added, we've rigged some drones with EMP charges. That should neutralize their tech long enough for us to gain the upper hand. Sarah nodded, appreciating their input. Good. We'll need every advantage we can get. Make sure everyone knows their roles and sticks to the plan. We can't afford mistakes. Night fell, and the colony buzzed with activity. Soldiers checked their weapons, engineers fortified defenses, and medics prepared for the inevitable casualties. Sarah walked among them, offering words of encouragement, reinforcing their resolve. At dawn, the colony was ready. Sarah stood at the forefront, her heart heavy, but her spirit unbroken. She raised her rifle, a symbol of their collective will. This is it. We stand together, or we fall divided. Let's show them what humanity is made of. With a unified roar, the colony's defenders moved out, ready to reclaim their home and avenge their fallen. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but their resolve was unshakable. They would fight for their survival, for their future, and for the hope that still burned within them. Dawn broke over the devastated colony, casting a pale light on the scared landscape. Commander Sarah Kane stood at the head of her troops, steely determination in her eyes. The plan was set, and every person knew their role. Today would mark the beginning of their counterattack. Move out, Sarah commanded, her voice firm and unwavering. The 3 units split off, each heading towards their designated targets. Sarah led Alpha Unit, moving swiftly and silently through the rubble-strewn streets towards the alien command post. The tension was palpable, every soldier alert and ready. Stay sharp, she whispered to her team. Remember, we hit them hard and fast. As they approached the target, Sarah raised her hand, signaling a halt. She scanned the area, noting the positions of the alien guards. Jenkins, take the left flank. Harris, you're with me. On my mark. Jenkins nodded, his face set with grim determination. He moved into position, his movements fluid and precise. Sarah took a deep breath, steadying herself for the imminent clash. Mark, she hissed. The humans sprang into action. Jenkins tossed an EMP grenade. the pulse rippling through the air and disabling the alien tech. Harris and Sarah opened fire, their shots precise and deadly. Alien soldiers crumpled under the onslaught, their luminescent armor flickering and dying. "Push forward," Sarah urged, advancing with calculated speed. Alpha units stormed the alien command post, their coordinated attack overwhelming the defenders. Sarah led the charge, her rifle blazing. The sound of gunfire and explosions filled the air, a chaotic symphony of battle. She moved with purpose, every action deliberate and efficient. "Commander, we've breached their defenses," Harris shouted over the din. "Good. Secure the area and hold your ground. We need to ensure they can't regroup," Sarah ordered. As the dust settled, Sarah took a moment to assess the situation. Bodies of fallen aliens littered the ground, their once imposing presence reduced to lifeless forms. Her heart pounded with adrenaline and a fierce pride in her team's performance. "Bravo unit, report," she called into her comms. "Bravo here. Perimeter secure, Commander. Minimal resistance," came the reply. "Charlie unit, status," Sarah continued. "All clear, Commander. We've got the wounded and non-combatants moved to the safe zones." Helena's voice crackled through. "Excellent. Hold positions and be ready for any counterattacks," Sarah instructed. She turned to her team, her gaze firm. "We've done well, but this is just the beginning. Stay vigilant. They'll retaliate, and we need to be prepared." Jenkins approached, a cautious look on his face. "Commander, we found something you need to see." He led her to a makeshift command center within the alien post. Holoscreens flickered with alien script and images. Sarah's eyes widened as she took in the sight of detailed plans and strategic maps of the colony. "This is their entire operation," she muttered. "We can use this. Get these data files to Dr. Martinez. She might be able to decrypt their communications and give us an edge." "On it, Commander," Jenkins said, moving quickly to execute her orders. Sarah allowed herself a brief moment of satisfaction. They had struck a significant blow, and the information they now possessed could turn the tide of this war. But she knew better than to underestimate their enemy. The aliens were formidable, and this victory, while crucial, was just a step in a longer, grueling journey. "We need to fortify our position and prepare for their response," Sarah said, addressing her unit. "They'll come back at us with everything they have. We need to be ready." Her soldiers nodded, their expressions resolute. They had tasted victory and were prepared for the battles to come. Sarah's heart swelled with pride and determination. They would fight, and they would prevail. "Let's get to work," she ordered. "This is our home, and we're not giving it up without a fight." And so, the humans fortified their newly captured position, their spirits unbroken, ready to face whatever came next. The battle for their colony had just begun, but they were united, their resolve unyielding. The aftermath of the first strike was both a victory and a grim reminder of the price they paid. Smoke still lingered in the air, mingling with the acrid smell of burnt debris and the metallic tang of blood. Sarah Kane moved through the makeshift field hospital, her heart heavy with the sight of wounded soldiers and the mourning of lost comrades. "Commander Kane," Dr. Martinez called, her voice tinged with exhaustion. "We've stabilized most of the critical injuries, but we've lost some good people." Sarah nodded, her expression somber. "Thank you, Helena. Keep doing what you can. Every life matters." Dr. Martinez gave a tired smile. "We will. How are you holding up?" Sarah sighed, glancing around at the somber faces. "I have to keep going. We all do." She moved to a group of soldiers gathered around a small fire. Private Jenkins looked up, his face a mix of relief and sorrow. "Commander, we did it. We hit them hard." "But at what cost, Jenkins?" Sarah replied, her voice low. "We can't afford to lose more people. Every life is precious." Lieutenant Harris approached, his expression grim. "Commander, we've intercepted some of their communications. The aliens are regrouping. They're planning a counterstrike. Sarah's jaw tightened. We knew this wasn't over. What's our status on supplies and reinforcements? We're running low on ammunition and medical supplies, Harris admitted, but morale is high. The men are ready to fight. Good, Sarah said, her resolve hardening. We'll need every bit of that spirit. We have to be smarter, more strategic. They underestimated us once. We won't give them that chance again. A young soldier, barely out of his teens, approached hesitantly. Commander, I wanted to thank you for saving my brother during the attack. Sarah placed a hand on his shoulder. We're all in this together. What's your name, soldier? Private Lopez, ma'am. Lopez, take care of your brother and yourself. We need everyone at their best. Yes, ma'am, Lopez replied, his eyes shining with determination. Sarah turned back to her core team, gathering them around the holomap. We need to fortify our defenses, set traps, reinforce barricades, and ensure every soldier knows their position. We can't afford any mistakes. Jenkins nodded. I'll coordinate with the engineers. We'll make this place a fortress. Dr. Martinez added, I've been working on a new field medical kit. It's not much, but it might help stabilize more injuries on the front lines. Every bit helps, Elena. Thank you, Sarah said, appreciating the doctor's relentless dedication. As the team dispersed to their tasks, Sarah took a moment to reflect. The weight of leadership was heavy, but she knew they looked to her for strength. She couldn't show doubt, couldn't waver. Later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the battered colony, Sarah addressed her troops. Tonight, we honor those we lost. Tomorrow, we fight not just for survival, but for the future. For every family, every child, and every soul that believes in humanity's resilience. We fight because we must. We fight because we can. The soldiers, weary but resolute, raised their weapons in silent salute. The firelight flickered in their eyes, a testament to their unyielding spirit. Rest well, Sarah commanded softly. Tomorrow, we show them what it means to be human. The night was filled with quiet preparations and the shared burden of loss. But beneath it all, a current of determination flowed. The cost of war was high, but their resolve was higher, and as the stars shone down on the war-torn colony, hope flickered, undying and eternal. The dawn of the decisive battle broke with an eerie calm. The air was heavy with anticipation and the distant hum of alien machinery. Commander Sarah Kane stood at the forefront of her assembled troops, her expression steely. Today would determine their fate. Check your gear and stay focused, she commanded, her voice cutting through the morning stillness. We only get one shot at this. Lieutenant Harris approached, his face set with determination. Commander, the drones are in position. We're ready to move on your signal. Sarah nodded, scanning the horizon. Good. Remember, we hit them hard and fast. No hesitation. The plan was simple but dangerous. They would strike at the heart of the alien command center, disrupting their operations and forcing a retreat. It was a high-risk, high-reward strategy that required precision and bravery. Alpha Unit, with me, Sarah ordered. Bravo and Charlie, hold the perimeter and provide support. As they advanced, the tension was palpable. The sound of their boots crunching on the debris-laden ground seemed deafening in the quiet morning. The alien command center loomed ahead, a fortress of alien technology and menace. On my mark, Sarah whispered into her comms. 3, 2, 1, now. The humans surged forward, their coordinated attack catching the aliens off guard. Explosions erupted as EMP grenades disabled alien defenses. Sarah led the charge, her rifle blazing with unerring accuracy. Alien soldiers fell, their armor flickering and failing. Push forward, don't let up, she shouted, her voice a rallying cry. Lieutenant Harris and Private Jenkins fought by her side, their movements fluid and deadly. The battle was fierce, a chaotic symphony of gunfire, explosions, and alien cries. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning machinery. As they breached the command center, Sarah's eyes locked onto the alien leader, General Thurok. His imposing figure and cold, calculating gaze sent a shiver down her spine. This was the orchestrator of their suffering, and he would pay. "Thurok," she shouted, her voice echoing in the cavernous space. "Your reign of terror ends here." Thurok turned, his expression one of surprise and contempt. "Human, you dare challenge me?" "We do more than challenge," Sarah retorted. "We win." Their confrontation was brutal and intense. Sarah's agility and precision matched Thurok's brute strength and ferocity. They fought with everything they had, each strike a testament to their resolve and desperation. Harris and Jenkins provided cover, their coordinated attacks keeping alien reinforcements at bay. "Commander, we've got your back," Harris yelled, firing at approaching soldiers. Sarah's focus never wavered. She knew this was more than a personal vendetta. It was a fight for their survival. She dodged Thurok's powerful blows, retaliating with precise shots that weakened his defenses. In a final, decisive move, Sarah seized an EMP grenade and activated it, thrusting it into Thurok's chest. "For humanity," she shouted, diving out of the blast radius. The explosion rocked the command center, and Thurok fell, his armor and body failing under the electromagnetic surge. Silence followed, a stark contrast to the chaos that had filled the air moments before. "We did it," Jenkins whispered, disbelief and relief mingling in his voice. Sarah rose, her body aching, but her spirit unbroken. "Secure the area," she ordered. "Make sure there are no more surprises." As the humans regrouped and fortified their position, Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. They had struck a critical blow, but the war was far from over. This victory was just a step toward reclaiming their home and securing their future. "Today, we've shown them our strength," she addressed her troops, her voice filled with pride. "But we must remain vigilant. The fight continues, and we will meet it head-on." Her soldiers, though weary, stood tall. The battle had tested their limits, but it had also reaffirmed their unity and resolve. Together, they would face whatever came next, determined to protect their colony and each other. The sun rose slowly over the ravaged colony, casting long shadows over the remnants of the battlefield. The once bustling streets were now silent, save for the soft murmurs of the survivors and the distant hum of machinery as the colony's systems slowly came back online. Commander Sarah Kane walked among her people, her heart heavy but hopeful. They had fought bravely and achieved a significant victory, but the cost was evident in every weary face and bandaged limb. "Commander," Dr. Martinez approached, wiping her hands on a blood-stained cloth. "The wounded are stable for now. We've lost some, but most will pull through." Sarah nodded, her gratitude evident in her eyes. "Thank you, Elena. You've done more than we could have asked for." Elena smiled faintly. "We all have, Sarah. We all have." Lieutenant Harris joined them, his uniform scorched and torn. "Commander, we've secured the area. The aliens have retreated, but we need to stay alert. They might come back." Sarah's jaw tightened. "We won't let our guard down. But for now, let's take a moment to regroup and recover." She turned to address the gathered survivors. "Today, we stand as a testament to human resilience. We faced an unimaginable threat and emerged stronger. We've shown that humanity will not be broken." Private Jenkins, leaning on a makeshift crutch, raised his fist. "For our home," he shouted, his voice echoed by the crowd. "For our home," Sarah repeated, feeling a surge of pride and determination. "We have much to rebuild, but we also have each other. Together, we will restore our colony and ensure a future for our children." As the crowd dispersed to tend to their duties, Sarah walked towards a quiet corner of the colony where a small memorial had been set up for those they had lost. She knelt, placing a hand on the cold stone. "We did it," she whispered, her voice breaking. "We fought back. For you. For all of us." A shadow fell over her, and she looked up to see General Therak standing a short distance away, his expression unreadable. He was a prisoner now, but the animosity had dimmed in the face of their shared losses. "Commander Kane," Therak began, his tone surprisingly soft, "you fought with honor. Your people are formidable." Sarah stood, facing him. "And yours underestimated us. This war, this destruction, it didn't have to be this way." Therak nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But now, we must find a way to coexist. The cost of this conflict has been too great." "We'll see," Sarah replied, her tone firm. "For now, you're our prisoner. You'll be treated fairly, but understand this. We won't tolerate further aggression." Therak bowed his head in acknowledgement. "Understood, Commander." As he was led away by guards, Sarah took a deep breath, allowing herself a moment of peace. The battle had been won, but the journey ahead was long. They had to rebuild, to heal, and to prepare for whatever came next. She joined her core team at the command center, where plans for reconstruction were already underway. "We need to prioritize shelters and medical facilities," Harris was saying. "We also need to secure our food supplies and repair our defenses." "Agreed," Sarah said, her voice steady. "And we need to ensure that our children can go to school, that our families can live without fear. This isn't just about survival, it's about living." Elena looked up, her eyes shining with hope. "We'll make it happen, Sarah. Together." Sarah smiled, feeling the weight of the future settle on her shoulders, but also the strength of her people supporting her. Yes, together. As the colony began to rebuild, the spirit of humanity burned brighter than ever. They had faced the storm and emerged not just unscathed, but stronger, united by their shared struggle and their unwavering hope for the future.